Alright. What the heck is going on, everybody? We've got a banging match here, straight from the Theatre of Dreams tournament. This is Team Liquid's Clem in the top left, the European Terran powerhouse, an absolute monster. And standing in his way is something that's been standing in his way for a long time, and that is not just this player, but Korean Protosses in general. Because they are his Achilles heel. I'm telling you, he would have won an international premier event by now. He's been winning the EU premier events, the EU majors, regionals. But he hasn't been winning the premiers yet, and it's almost always because of a Korean Protoss player. It was Zest for a while there. Now it's hero standing in his way. So the group stage match, Theatre of Dreams, and of course, hero, a very aggressive Protoss player. Now, so far, hero, 0 scouting. Now, why is he doing that? It's because Clem is a bit of a normie. He's a little bit predictable. So hero's going to be a greedy boy and just kind of basically skip on that early on. Doesn't even check for an engineering bay block. So hero doing a very greedy build, and he's lucky to get away with it. Clem doing a marine opening. He's only scouting now. It looks like a 19 SCV scout. Wow, that's really late. That's a super late SCV scout. I guess he's just going to check if there's an expand or not and then pull home. And going for the marine into factory before reactors. So this is a very quick tech build. With this build order, you cannot defend this command center from an early adept. So that's what's really interesting about this build order. Unless you build a bunker, right? Which I guess you could build at 2 minutes 30. He should come in. He sees that getting chronoed, and he should know that he needs a bunker to defend. Otherwise, this command center will not get finished because he built this. Yeah, 1 minute 39. There we go. SCV's coming down. As long as he starts it by about 2. Normally it's 225 on a normal map. Moondance is a tiny map though. So he's like, no, I need to get it started really early because that adept could get here so fast. If the gateway gets built here by the Protoss, the adept's in your base at like 2 minutes 40. It's actually disgusting how fast it can be there. In this case though, hero does just go for the Nexus and the Twilight Council. Hero's been looking really juicy in this matchup. You know what's really fascinating? For those of you who don't know, so I've been practicing one of Hero's kind of double gas proxy Stargate Oracle openings that he really favors on the very small maps where he just gets really aggressive, and Probe recently put out a guide on this build specifically showing Hero dismantling Clem with it in a previous tournament. So I'm sure Clem is very aware of the fact that, like, you know, Hero has these nasty proxy Oracle builds and all these sorts of things, but in this scenario, Clem is opening up. Oh, Hellion drop. Okay, so he's going to build 3 Hellions, drive them across, get a medevac, pick them up, drop them in the back of the base. And there is this little shadowy spot here, which he should aim to unload in. He could do massive damage with that. Behind it, though, your starport's on the wrong side of the map. So I don't think he'll bother with a Liberator. I think he'll just lift the starport and float it home after this medevac. Now, it's a pretty big investment. You lose a lot of starport production time. You can't really be building add-ons at home. But on the other hand, 3 Hellions is a very deadly drop. And Hellion aggression in general in TVP, it's one of those things that scales way harder than anything else. A Widowmine drop is a low commitment annoyance that can have big payoff. But if a Hellion player drops in there or runs in and there's not enough gateway units, everything dies. The probes will all get massacred. Whereas if it's a Widowmine drop, you can just run your workers away, spread them out, lose a couple probes, go back to mining. Hellions don't roll like that. Oh, the Adept, can it see this? If it sees the Hellions, it'll be huge, but oh, it misses them. The Adept misses them. That is a problem. Oh, but he knows about the dark spot in his vision, and he fills the hole with a pylon. Hero there. So he's going to see this coming in. He's got to react quickly. 4 Stalkers are coming. The probes are stacking up to get out of there. I like that. These probes sacrifice themselves to hold back the rest of them. Hero. Oh, look at that. He's only going to lose 3 probes. Clem there, getting a little bit antsy, going after a few more. Doesn't find the damage that he would like. Meanwhile, he's going up to a 2nd barracks. He's building a tank and engineering bay here as well. And I think, I mean, on this map, you can take a really safe 3rd in the backside. I wonder if he goes for that. The Hellions rotating around. This is, of course, guys, a 4-gate blink. So it's a very aggressive build order from Hero. He's destroyed Clem with this multiple times in the past. So for Clem, I mean, you can, I don't like his building placement. Because if he puts a tank here, it kind of keeps you safe. Like, it can't really get sniped easily, but it also doesn't cover that much. Like, the Stalkers can easily get up there and pick off a lot of units. He's going to put the first tank on the natural, but that means his main is wide open. No stim, no Marauders, no Marines. I mean, there's a few Stalkers that are being distracted by the Hellions. It looks like they did kill a probe, I think, moving out to take the 3rd, or... No, they didn't, actually. It's the same 3 probes from earlier. Stalkers are going to blink in and go after stim, and oof, that's very painful. Not having a tank in the main, definitely going to cost him here. Marines and SCVs are pulled. Luckily, it's only 6 Stalkers. If all the Stalkers were there, he'd be in way more trouble. Right now, you can tell hero's playing this a bit more conservative. He still has a lot of Stalkers at home. These 4 Stalkers, he was expecting some sort of counterattack. It didn't come. Now the tanks and the Marines moving out. Clem's got to be careful, man. All of his Marines are in the natural right now. Whoa, okay, Clem. That tank in the main super exposed as well. And he just dives in there and gets so much damage. Oh, hero just clicked on the command center and wasted an entire volley. He does get the medevac in the tank, but a massive miss micro from hero. Drops his trousers a little bit there. 5 Stalkers go down. That should have been an amazing move because remember, Clem, he didn't leave a proper avenue. The tank can't move through there. So he's messed up his base location. Tanks can't move through there. Tanks can only move through this area. Big mistakes on the base placement for Clem, but now that he defends that wave, he's fine. As long as he can get the stim up without losing that, he's got a tank in position. Losing a depot is not too big an issue. Cancels a reactor. He's like, as long as I'm not taking critical damage, that's fine, because hero's economy sucks. His third is only barely ahead. Hero has not found the damage that he really should have been able to find. He might rotate back and try to kill the bunker again, and that could still work out, but stim and shields is getting dangerously close, and at that point, the bio should be able to push the Stalkers back, especially with medevacs already almost here. Stalkers get a Marauder, and they do pull back. Very good pickoffs there. He's got Zealots coming. F2, you do not want those Zealots on this side of the map right now, I don't think. I mean, Hero's a madman, so maybe he'll try it, but I think those Zealots need to go home and wait for charge. His Stalkers should be skirmishing, though, and trying to wear this down. Behind this, Clem has got 5 barracks coming in. It's a very scary army moving forward. I don't like Hero Zealots being with this army. I think he's got to pull back. Charge is almost done, though. And now that charge kicks in, can Hero just survive? Maybe. He goes in with a Zealot drop. Big damage there. He baits a stim. Oh, very nice for Hero. Baiting stims out is huge here. He shouldn't be chasing that army too far, though. The Zealot drop in the main. He saves 3 of those Zealots after killing 13 SCVs. Remember that Hero is way behind on economy, though. So now he's back in what we'd call a reasonable economic position. So that was a fantastic trade for him. 13 SCVs, defends the attack. You're back in the game. Immortal is on the way right now. He's got 5 gateways, make that 7 gateways. He's going to try and take the 5th gas geyser, but no proper third base. The Zealot drop comes in again, and Clem caught with his pants down. I don't know why he hasn't got anything to deal with this just yet. That's a big issue for him. The bio at the front gets split up. His army is massively overstimmed. Oh my god, and Hero jumping on him on the front, in the back at the same time. Hero, as always, recognizes that it's the whole package and you got to simulate the terrain in many areas to get yourself to the victory line, and that's what he's going for. Look at this. He's baiting him back and forth in between the third base and the main in the back. Clem needs to leave something in there to get rid of it. The Observer sees everything, and I think Hero has a free path to a 4th base now behind this. He's got Templar Archives, so he can go either charge Archon, or he can even swap into Storm, since he's on 5 gas geysers now. These barracks add-ons are out in the open a little bit, so he could try blinking in and picking off an add-on. A Widowmine drop's going to try and move across the map. I don't think the Observer saw that. But yeah, Clem, I think, really dropping trousers a little bit. He's taken way too much damage to the drop for no good reason, and he lost a lot of units there as well. So you got to be really on point here, man. Hero's a guy who's going to be characteristically almost overly aggressive. Getting rid of that Observer does help. Can't be letting a Protoss just have free vision. Immediately rebuilds it, does Hero. That 4th base is on the way. Storm and the first Forge is here as well. Keep in mind, 1-1 upgrades are going to be done in a moment. Protoss hasn't started his upgrades. Protoss is only up 10 workers. That's also a problem. He's only got 8 Stalkers. They're pretty healthy. They're not too wounded. Single sentry. There's no High Templar. Okay, he's got 2 High Templar in the Warp Prism, and he's chrono boosting Storm. So he's going to have 2 Storms. It's a small amount of Storms in the grand scheme of things. It's not like, oh my god, yeah, you can just kill everything with that, right? If they land just right, they win the game, potentially, or at least crush this push. But if they whiff, won't work out too well. Stalkers do take out the drop. Get rid of the Widow Mines. Cannons building in the back as well. And here comes that push on the front. That battery's going to go down quick, fast. But he's got a Storm. The Storm's not ready. Storm's not ready, Hero. Do not show it. Do not show it. Be careful. He's got to defend the base, though. He can't be giving this one up for free. Storm is ready in 3 seconds. He's going to go for it. The Zealots going forwards. Those first Widow Mines doing all right, but they aren't really getting the big booms that he might be looking for. Here's the Storms. Watch out. First Storm completely whiffs. Remember, he only has 2 of those guys. The Prism picks up the 1 full energy High Templar. Leaves the other one on the ground, knowing that it does not have anything it can do. Ooh, he's worried about those Marines focusing the Prism, so he pulls it back, but Clem wisely pulls back, spreads out some mines, and he's just being real cautious. The High Templar has pulled out of there. Zealot Archon is making. Clem's going to go for a crazy counter drop right now. And I mean, against anyone else, that's a winning move. But hero might just shove in and kill you. The Widow Mines, the Marauders spreading though, that stuff's really effective. He's got to move forward to make sure the Stalkers can't just deactivate all the mines. But this drop is going to be brutal. He's using all of his warpins on the front. Hero thinks he's got him pinned, but Clem goes for the high-risk maneuver and goes across the map. He's got to be careful though. Pre-spread is got to be essential here, and getting rid of the Observer would be huge. He goes into don't get stormed. Oh my god, there's no Psystorm available right now, but there will be soon. Widowmine does take out the Observer, but another Observer is here. The drop has depowered most of the production in the main. Clem's got to get back up the ramp. Get back up the ramp. He doesn't need to defend down here. Clem is fighting very dangerously right now. He does pull the SCVs in eventually, but I think he should have pulled back to the high ground already. His drop on the other side looks like it should be able to win the game though. He's going to get in and kill the natural as well now. This units are pulling back and killing all the zealots. All the SCVs have gone down, but that's totally fine because he's killing everything on the other side of the map. Clem has done it here. He has just overwhelmed, and that counter drop, it seemed like a dangerous play. But I mean, this is the thing. Hero always is trying to just put everything in one area at one time. And I think he punished it so well, did Clem, by saying, hey, you can't really shove through. Storm's good defensively. Aggressively, Widow Mines are going to make it very, very arduous for you to slowly work your way through, deactivate the minefield with your Stalkers, with your spreading out units. You can't shove through that as a Protoss player. And that means I can take advantage of the fact that you don't have vision, drop across the map, and basically win the game with it. So, I mean, Clem now, he's rebuilding SCVs, he's got +2 vehicle weapons, so he's going to have a 3 upgrade advantage, he's got a giant army, and basically Hero's like, I have an Immortal and 7 Stalkers, and I'll try to land the Storms to end all storms. These probes are still, unfortunately, the stars of the Refugee Hunters TV series, but Dog the Bounty Hunter and his buddy do hunt them down, and very, very sad story for those probes. 31 worker economy heroes. Pretty much dead right now. He's going to try and do one last stand here. But I mean, I love the Widowmine drop in the back as well. As long as Clem doesn't take the big storms to the face, he should easily win this fight just by having so much more stuff. And remember that triple upgrade advantage. Watch out for the Prism though. He moves forward a bit, clumped. Does spread perfectly though. Clem with those mechanics. More storms coming forward. He's got to do a lovely spread. He does pull back. The Widowmines didn't drop in because of the cannon. So Clem's just letting that one hide in the corner for now. He does eat a storm there. Gets the Prism. Gets the Archon. Guns forward. Pushing forwards when most Terrans would back away. And Clem, decisive as ever there, does manage to navigate through the madness of Hero in game 1. All right, guys, let's go. Let's go, guys. We've got Clem in the left side. Liquid Clem. And he's scouting really late once again, but he is going for the Reaper. Hero here has gone for Cybercore into Nexus. Hero, just zero respect for Clem, because Clem never really goes super hard on the aggression and doesn't proxy racks much in this matchup. He never proxy racks his first Zerg. I've been talking for a little while, the last maybe 3-4 months, about how Clem's biggest weakness is that he's too much of a virgin in terms of like his macro style. Like he's predictably going to try and take you on in a fair game, and he's very fast and powerful in those games, but the best Terrans proxy racks a lot. They do it a lot, at least 1 in 4 or 5 games, right? Maru, MVP back in the day, beyond, all TY even. And TY is not a micro god. TY is not as good at micro and multitasking as those other guys, but he still recognizes how important it is to make his opponents afraid, because you're going to play guys like Hero. He's just going to get away with no scout at all. Stalker, Stargate. Look at this. Clem has no idea what he's up against. He's got no scouting. No way of verifying. He knows that the tech is probably here or here. He doesn't know where, but how does he ever get in there to scout it? The Reaper ledge is walled off. The Stalker's pushing him back. There's another Stalker coming out as well. For all he knows, this is going to be a Twilight opening. And Clem's even building a bunker for safety. I'm not saying this is game over or anything. It's just a very smooth opening for Hero where he can just chrono boost Oracle, chrono boost probes. I don't think he'll go Phoenix first. I completed the sentence, guys, even though I could see it was a Phoenix. I completed what I was going to say. I was going to say, I don't think it's going to be Phoenix first, because he loves Oracles. And he's actually, I used to always be a big fan of going straight Phoenix. But, you know what? He actually changed my mind and made me realize the Oracle shuts down Hellion Reaper. It shuts down so much aggression. It can do massive damage. It's like an observer on steroids, because it can actually track the army without really getting... There's no counterplay, right? You can counterplay observers with ravens, with scans, with moving your army around quickly so it can't keep up. An Oracle just tags your army and says, yeah, I see everything that happens. Now, the sneaky Phoenix play can't really damage the opponent, but if the opponent goes for a Widow Mine drop or a Hellion drop, and then they run into your Phoenix, it's a whole bunch of free kills, and then your Phoenix have complete map dominance. This is exactly the opening that you want to have as hero. And you know what? He comes in, the Reaper really wants to scout. Oh, it's a good scout! And now Clem knows, okay, if I'm going to drop, I hide the medevac in the corner and wait for the Phoenix to harass me, and only then do I go across. Or I just set the Widow Mines up as defensive units. So he's got a Widow Mine. Where is it? Oh, it's up there. Okay, so he's hiding it next to the gas. He's got another Widow Mine. He's going to hide down here in the mineral line, just underneath that SCV. Really good moves by him. And he says, yeah, that's fine. I'll just build a Cyclone, build a Viking, and then go up to the second and the third barracks. No worries. Phoenix comes in, sees the medevac. And the third base does go down. Now, interestingly, guys, this is 3 gateways before Twilight or Forge. So if there was like a big Viking Marine push, he could warp in a lot of Stalkers. But it is a very late Twilight Forge. There we go. Twilight going down 4 minutes 45 for Phoenix, and he seems to have stopped Phoenix production. But with 4 gases, he's going to go for a Robo. It wouldn't make sense to go 4 gas here unless he's either planning to go for a Robo or he's rushing Storm is, I guess, a play he could do. But Hero's builds are very intuitive. So on the other hand, you can't really read into things thinking of perfect optimization, because you've got to keep in mind that he does things by feel, and sometimes they're not perfectly mapped out. It makes him very hard to read as a player. Even if it's a little less optimal, like you can point out technically if you went 3 gas, you could pull off all this tech very easily. He's going Blink +1. That Robo is still not down, man. His build order is not my favorite. I actually think Clem might be able to just kill him with a 2-base bio push. We'll see if Clem commits to that or not. He's not started this 3rd command center just yet. He's fully up on 47, soon to be 48 SCVs. That's a full complement of SCVs for 2-base. And here we go. Lots of Marines are being built. The Phoenix could come in. Is there still a Widow Mine down here? Yes, there is. It's so hard to see, but it is actually hidden behind the gas for those who can't see. So notice he's using the fact that the perspective here means the top of that. Unless you rotate your camera, the top of that little edge is hiding it. So above the radar dish is another really good hiding place where it's really hard to see that divot. And you can only really notice once you see the tracking laser from the Widow Mine, which is, of course, usually too late to turn around. Widow Mine's snaking around the very top of the map. Mass Gateway coming in. So he's just, I mean, this is such a weird build. Because, like, look, the 3 racks push is coming. And he's got to defend with just, okay, he has made 4 sentries. I was going to say just Stalkers. I was like, he needs something else with this. You can't just play Stalkers versus a big bio push. But you know what's working out well for him? Guys, Clem doesn't realize it's this. Clem has no information, so he thinks he's up against a Mass Zealot Phoenix. So he's playing Mass Marine Widow Mine. You know what Marines and Mines aren't nearly as good against as Marauders and Tanks? Stalkers! If he knew what he was up against, he would 100% be going as much Marauder production as possible. He might be swapping the Widow Mines. I mean, Widow Mines can still be decent, but you want to use them more as drops. So this is just, once again, Hero always denies Clem's information in this matchup. So Clem, he's always like, wait, what? He's going to find out in a little bit that, oh, look at that. He retargets the mine a few times. Very cute micro there from Clem. He comes in with the Widow Mine drop on this side. Can he get the damage? Looks like Hero did clean up a Widow Mine on the south, but oh, big boomy. 9 probes go down. I mean, this is good skirmish, good tussle here for Clem, but he shouldn't be pushing in. Force fields are going to wreck him. Oh, no, Clem. Clem goes way too far forward. He's got to get out of there, man. Oh, my God, the Phoenix Stalker could run him down. Big mistake for Clem to push in here. Even though his 3rd is very late, I think he's worried that Colossus are about to hit the field, right? He's thinking Stalker Sentry means there's Colossus coming. I got to do something before he gets Colossus. No, Hero's on 8-gate Stalker Sentry. He doesn't even have anything else. He's got no charge. He's got no Robo Bay. Hero is just doing Hero things. He's like, it's just Mass Stalker. And this is something, guys, for those who don't know, Clem lost a game against this in the EPT NA Weekly against a player who is basically a retired semi-pro. Mass Blink Stalker is something that Clem never accounts for because top pros do not play Mass Blink Stalker. It's not a style you're meant to play. They're very fragile units. As the Marauder count grows, they scale like crap. But he lost again. I think it was Rob, right? Maybe someone remembers in the Twitch chat who's watching live. I think it was Rob. If I remember correctly, it was Rob who just sent me a replay. I was like, hey, check this out. Because I was like, how did you beat Clem in a weekly cup? And he literally just made like 30 Stalkers. And Clem kept overextending into it and thinking, I can just beat you. And the Stalkers would just come in, blink away, pick off the reinforce. They're so maneuverable and they keep baiting stims out and picking off units for free. It's a surprising style to play against, but that's what Hero's done here. Mass Stalker Sentry. He's now going Robo Bay 2nd Robo. He should be taking a 4th base as well, which it looks like he wants to take on the top side. But great defense by Hero. Clem now forced to play a longer game, and it's still just biomine here. His Marauder count's growing, but I'd like to see him try and multi-prong a little bit. Maybe, you know, catch hero out of position. Still, I think a scary army just because Stalker Sentry is very bad. But as Charge Zealots come in and then he gets his first few Colossus and Disruptors out, things will change. Prism does sneak by, which means the Marines, I don't know if he knows about that. These Stalkers trying to split up. Hero's trying to keep some map vision here on both sides. Oof, that fourth base is looking mighty isolated right now. Some more Stalkers coming forward. He's still on 17 Stalkers. The Prism got F2'd home. Hero there with his classic F2 maneuver, guys. Remember that Hero doesn't really organize his play properly. He just got Widowmine dropped and lost 7 probes in the natural as well. And look at that, the Prism comes forward, but not many Marines on top of it. The Widowmines get some decent hits over there. He's going to send 1 Marine to chase off the Warp Prism. Clem will pull back, but he's got a 4th command center on the way. Double Colossus production is started, and I don't think we've seen a second starport just yet. You can take out Colossus with Bio, especially if you've got good EMPs. Good dodge on the force fields. Clem does not get force fielded. Hero, even though he had a surprising and kind of nice start there, Widowmine gets another probe there. Very well placed. I think that cannon is in vision, so he just needs to attack it, but he's not doing it just yet. And here we go. Big army through the middle. Observer sees it coming. But the first 2 Colossus hit the field, and I think Hero's made it through the dangerous period. The problem for him now is that his economy and work account's very low, and so it feels more and more like he's committed to a 4 Colossus counterattack with +2. I think Hero's already thinking about the kill move. He's going to say, I'm going to deflect the aggression and go for a counter to kill you. So Clem's got to be careful about overextending. Clem's like, cool, I'm winning the game, let's keep trading. But he's got to realize that Hero already has his eye on the target of a 4 Colossus all-in. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Clem is miles ahead. He's building Vikings. I'd love to see him get a second starport built on this factory reactor. But as it is, he splits off a drop to the right side. The Widowmines are getting cleaned up pretty damn efficiently. Units lost tabs about even, but no attempt to probe, no attempt to build a 4th base. I told you guys, Hero said, I'm in a bad position economically. That's fine. I'm going for the kill move. All he's doing, building pylons, observers, 4 Colossus are out. It's go time. He's going to go for that big kill move. Clem, a lot of his army's on the right side. He needs to realize he cannot fight out here. That observer right on top of him. Oh, Clem's got to be real cautious right now. He's forgotten about this army. Clem, he sends it in now, or actually he brings it home. So he's going to use that as a bit of a flank, but he's got to be careful. Now, the Widowmines could be very effective versus the Zealots, but look at that. The Stalkers coming forward. They get rid of the Sensor Tower. You got to be careful there, Clem. He's got to get some big EMPs on this army. Disruptors coming in behind it. Second starport, 2-2 upgrades. All of this spells disaster for Hero. Hero is up on upgrades at this moment, but not for too much longer. He's moving in. He's got those 4 Colossus, a deadly force. Here comes the army from the right. Clem's going to go for it. EMP's landing on a lot of these units, but he could use a few more on the Colossus. The Colossus are absolutely decimating the units on the ramp, even with the SCV pull. It feels like the Vikings were a little bit slow to get started in that fight. The Vikings will take out the Colossus. Yes, they will. The Stalkers are here with a handful of Zealots. Clem landing the Vikings. If Clem can defend this, he is equal in workers, and he's got 2-2 about to finish. But that was a perfect timing from Hero, hitting just before the 2-2 kicks in. If he can get the 3rd command center, that'd be huge. There's still a 4th on the right with the planetary, so Clem is still ahead in this game. I'd say overall, he's won the game if he can stop this push, because there's still no 4th. He sees it's not up over there with that scan. Clem is miles ahead. Problem, disruptors are here. There's a few sentries with force fields that Hero's warped in because he's Hero, and he's just going to try and do it in the scrappiest way possible. Clem's got to be careful. There's disruptors. You can't go up that ramp, buddy. I mean, he's worried about the Zealot Stalker numbers. He's just got to keep up his bio production. He's trying to build ghosts right now. That might be a bit too fancy. I think he might just need the raw fighting units, the Marines, the Marauders. He's building Liberators as well right now. His Vikings, they're kind of like clunky Marauders, which aren't good versus the force fields and the disruptors. The EMP lands on some units, but Disruptor Ball does hit a couple of units. 1 Marine goes down, and of course the Viking, Marine, Marauder trying to work their way forward. He's got to be careful here. Clem doesn't want to overextend too far. More disruptors are coming in. Good micro by Clem, but man, he's just hanging on for dear life right now. Hero is completely all in, but look how deep his balls are going. Great ball. 2 Vikings, 2 Marauders go down, and that's why this cramped up space, it's good for defending the Zealots, but it's so bad against those disruptors. The 4th base on the right is still mining. Clem, he's got to get anything up. A Liberator, a tank, any sort of siege unit would be game-changing right now, but you see the way Hero's working the range advantage. If he can get rid of the Liberator, that's going to be big. The Liberator goes down. The Disruptor landing on the Viking Ghost. Hero here, desperate. His last set of units, they need to win the game right here, right now. The SCVs need to be pulled. Anything he can do to defend, but the Liberator goes down again. Ah! Oh my god, hero barely able to break through those important siege units. I can't believe it. This should be a 2-0 for Clem. He was so far ahead, but hero, the master of microing his dirty, dirty, aggressive timings down to the friggin' the absolute perfect detail. Clem a little bit slow to move his medevacs to get the hot pick up there. I think Clem is just absolutely flabbergasted that hero was able to break him with this push. A great move by hero. And Clem, I think, underestimating the power of this attack. I mean, hero is a guy who will just put all of his eggs in one basket. He did not have a plan B. He was just like, yep, man, I am all in, let's go. But the Disruptor rally was absolutely huge there and just barely overwhelming him. A Liberator comes out. There's just no Marines and Marauders on the ground. I mean, it's still one of those things where one bad fight and hero's out of this, but he gets the Liberator, the blink forward. The Disruptors are throwing those balls deep, and Clem has to pick up to dodge, which is never a good situation. Force field on the ramp. These add-ons are getting taken out, which is going to put him back to just... I mean, he's actually got extra barracks in the main. That Widow Mine gets a juicy hit, but 2 Marauders and a Marine go down yet again. He's actually got a fair barracks count, but they're on the far right. They're trying to build tech labs right now. I think he should just be building Marines, anything to have firepower, but he's out of siege units and his ramp has been breached. Oh, hero, you dirty savage. Punches his way out of the grave once again and just barely breaks through Clem. We see the power there, and we've seen this many times before of Colossus against a Widowmine-based army using force fields, Colossus, and then Disruptors against a Terran who has no ranged unit, long-ranged unit, no siege tank or Liberator. Just one or two of those anchoring that would have changed everything, but hero barely gets it through, brings it back off 56 probes versus a Terran who's up a base, up 15 workers. That was a sick comeback to tie up the series. All right. He almost had the 2-0, but once again, Korean Protosses, man, masters of microing those pushes. I'll tell you, I always think of Protoss versus Terran as a defensive matchup. I think Clem probably thinks, yeah, I'm the aggressor, they're the defender. But there's always a guy like hero who just has that best in the world Protoss micro. And I'm like, oh, even when you're way behind for like 3 minutes, you could still just kill them with Colossus and having sick micros and engagements and just really beautiful positioning. So hero found a way back into that game despite being quite far behind. Clem, I think you could argue, needed to set up a better surround. But Inside Out's not a bad map for Terran either. Pretty small one. Terrans do tend to like small maps because they can push across. Protoss doesn't have a lot of time to prepare. Protoss often likes to kind of buy time against Terran and backstab and counterattack and slow them down. SCV Scout Reaper once again coming out. We haven't seen a lot of success with the Reapers this time though. Check it out. You can see full wall off on the running behind the mineral line, but you can still hop in there. What I like about this pylon is you're not sure if the tech's going to be there or there, so it's kind of cute. It also, if you build a gateway on it, gives you a warp-in point in between your two bases, which can be quite nice. It can also power a battery on the low ground while powering tech somewhat hidden and protected on the high ground. So few advantages to it. SCV comes in, sees, okay, pretty standard opening here. I mean, it's like Cybercore, Internexus, Chrono Adept, Reapers coming forward across the map, and we will see, of course, Factory going down about 2 minutes 10. Pretty straightforward opening for Clem. And Twilight Council it is for hero. No more Stargate this time around. The Adept is going to pop out before the Reaper gets in there. Let's see how this dance goes. For Clem, the job here is to not throw this away and just check what the tech is. He sees the Twilight Council, but does lose a little bit of his Reaper ledge from that Twilight, so yeah, gonna have to just get out of there. The Adept will let the Shade complete, no doubt, to just push him back. Stalker's on the way behind this, and there is a safety bunker. Clem not taking any risks, not against hero. Skipping the bunker is very dicey against aggressive Protoss players. When you play a very defensive Protoss, it's kind of fine in almost any situation, but against the guys like hero that can just flip a switch and maybe even have a proxy gate on the map or something, it's always tough. So far, it is a 2-gate into the blink, and it is 1 Adept, 1 Stalker. So a very well-timed blink. It's already started before the 3-minute mark. That means blink with a couple of chronos on it usually can finish, say you chrono it 3 times, it means it's a 90-second upgrade, which means it'll be done at 4 minutes 30, often more likely to be about 4:40, but either way, that's around the normal timing when a Hellion or Widowmine drop could hit you. So it's dangerous because you fly in with the medevac, they blink on you, bam, no way out. But double Hellion production coming in. All right, so he's going straight for 4 Hellions and a Banshee? Ooh, Clem. I think this is going to be a Banshee build. I mean, he could go Raven, but going Raven with nothing but Hellions on the field is insane. He needs something that shoots. Ah! Yeah, okay, he's insane. I love it. Okay, I mean, the thing is, if you think about it, the earlier you get the Raven, the more value it gets. And there's no Stargate, right? So you can just keep dropping auto turrets in the back and picking away at them. They don't want to build a Stargate because you've already spent all your gas on the Twilight, the Robo Stalkers. To get a Stargate and a Stargate unit out just to counter one Raven does not feel good. It really messes with the Protoss build. By the time you do that, the Terran timing hits you and you just die. So, okay, good Reaper distraction, but he's not really going to get too much. Good probe pool there. Looks like he's only going to lose about 3 probes. Can he get a few more? One more shot? No, doesn't get it. Only 3 probes, and that's for a Reaper and 4 Hellions. And now hero can just push across the map and really ruin his day a little bit. Probe will move out to take a 3rd base in just a moment. Actually, hero's on 4 gas. Hero should be dropping a Robo Bay in a moment. Yeah, this is a 2-base Colossus build. I mean, he'll still take... Whoa, he's going to go Storm. Oh, hero, you're such a weirdo. He's playing 2-base Storm? Oh my god, or 2-base Charge Archon after the Stalkers, maybe? This is going to be very interesting. Raven is chilling at home. I would like to see the Raven go across the map, but I think he's worried about dying after losing those Hellions. And he's got 2 tanks on the front. And he's going to have to put this tank... Okay, so if he goes barracks there... I don't like that starport positioning, though. No space for an add-on there. So Clem, I think, is very panicked. He thinks he's going to lose the game. Yeah, he needs space for the add-on. Tank just being here is totally fine. He's going to put it in a super conservative place. Wants to make sure he doesn't die. Charge is on the way. It's going to be a charge. Do we see Storm or Archons? I don't quite know. Hero doing a very 2-base play. Oh, man, the tank is sieging up, and oh, this is so bad for Clem. Interference Matrix on the Prism is cute, but he's not really going to achieve anything. It's a waste of energy, really. 1 Stalker for a tank. I mean, the Raven survives for now, but Clem just a bit too fiddly with his setup. And I mean, having 2 bunkers on the natural. But I really feel like Clem is always too worried about the natural. Against hero, you need to prioritize the main. That's almost always where he's going to hit you with the first wave. So a little bit of a mistake there for Clem. He's got to keep that Raven alive. That Raven needs to pull back and get repaired. If he loses the Raven, that's a huge win. 3rd Nexus goes down. Storm is on the way, and he's already got High Templar gathering energy. Man, he's gonna Storm drop a mineral line. He's going to come home, pick up those High Templar, and Storm drop Clem. Now, Clem is way ahead economically. In this scenario... It is one of the things where you look at the numbers as the caster, you go, Terran's ahead. And then you remember the fact that Clem has seen nothing. I've talked to you guys from the start of this series about how hero denies Clem's map vision. Whenever they play, there are many points where Clem is ahead on workers, ahead on army, ahead on upgrades, and then hero just kills him. And that's because hero is playing with all the information and Clem is playing completely blind. Clem's trying to play safe and standard, and hero is playing super flexible and adjustable. He's way down on economy right now. You should be up in probes significantly versus Terran. He's down 8 workers, but he's going to look to equalize. Can he land the big stormy storms? Siege tank is there, but it doesn't really kill these High Templar too quickly, and not too bad. 5 SCVs to start, but that's very regular, you know? It's damaging the SCVs, only 5 kills. You're still down on economy here. Now, as Clem, he should either send a medevac to heal this or put 1 SCV on auto repair as another way to slowly heal up that mineral line. 3rd command center's almost finished. He's moving out with his 5 barracks. It's not the biggest army, but with stim, shields, +1, soon to have concussive, 2 tanks. What are you going to do against this as hero? You've got 1 immortal, a couple of zealots, and Psystorm. If you don't land good storms on this army, the raw material numbers mean Clem should be able to just kick you in the dick. Raven does run in the back. It's been dropping an auto turret there, but only 1 auto turret. That early interference matrix, a real bummer. I do think if he actually went across the map and harassed from the start, that could have had more impact on this game. Tanks are going to go wedge themselves in the corner. They do have to be careful about an immortal getting here and gunning them down. Pretty good pre-spread for Clem, but he immediately clumps back up. Careful of those storms, bud. Oh, he's way too clumped with his bio. Bad micro by Clem. Very bad micro because he wasn't pre-spread and he just ran away. He gives up his tanks for free. So really bad micro on that push from Clem. I'm going to criticize that, guys. Like, don't call him bad. He's better than you, pig. All right, sorry, guys. I won't change the commentary just because of the one guy whining in the comments. It's fine. It's true, man. He should have pre-spread. If he's going to be on this side of the map, and, if you're going to give up your territory like that, you shouldn't be bringing your siege tanks. Those siege tanks would have been worth so much on the defense, but now you've given them up. You don't have that long-range defensive anchor. He's going to have to spread out in these fights. But what do we see from all of the Terran players against the top Protoss? They very rarely pre-spread. They rely on their off-the-cuff, instantaneous, reactive micro. That can work if you play perfect, but it also means if you make a mistake, you're going to get punished. Hero is way behind right now. He's also got a Widow Mine drop doing big boomies in the main. 8 probes going down, but look at that. Clumped up is Clem. A little slow on the reaction. He does get rid of one of the High Templar. I'm not sure if there's any Storm on that other High Templar. I think Clem should definitely keep Widow Mine dropping, maybe even sending Marine drops across the map. These probes will clean up that single Widow Mine. Raven comes in the back as well, man. Hero's economy is in the dumps. Man, imagine if there was 2 tanks to anchor, but that's a scary Immortal Archon army. Just remember, even though they don't have upgrades, 3 Immortals, 3 Archons, lots of Zealots. The auto turret getting massive damage there, dude. Hero's economy is absolutely toasted, but Clem is not really spread down here supporting his Widow Mines. Hero could push into his natural. Clem needs to be out there intercepting this army. Otherwise, his Widow Mines aren't going to do anything. Widow Mines, okay, the last 2 got some very good shots off, but he's still got to be really wary of Storm, and Clem lets him take the position here. Big mistakes for Clem. He's got to watch out for those Psy Storms. Good pullback, though. This kind of baits Hero into his base, but now he has to chase into Hero's army, and that's where the Storms could be big. Clem, watch out! Oh my god, the SCVs are getting wrecked by the Zealots. Hero here, utilizing amazing position, but he needs perfect micro. He cannot get kited. If his units spread out, Clem will pick him apart. Great Storm zoning on both sides. Lands some big Storms on the left and the right. SCVs are pulled from every single which way. Clem desperately trying to hang on. There's no Storms left. It's just Zealots, Archons, Immortals. The Prism still with only 20 hit points, yet it's somehow still alive. Everything on the flank goes down. It's just the units popping out. EMPs are here. Auto turret goes down as well. My god, these Archons are so weak, but they're still alive for now. The Archons aren't quite going down. Oh no, Clem getting busted there by Hero. And Hero once again is like, who needs economy? I'm just gonna take you on a ride. I don't know, man. I'm not comfortable sitting down 10 to 15 workers for like 4 minutes straight. Hero doesn't give an F. He wins the game anyway. Absolutely stunning micro again.